right, greetings, folks. Welcome to another date on This Morning. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today, Benue as metaphor for political harshness. Now, when in 1999, the military elected to return to the barracks, the great expectation was for a reformed political class that would take a military-weary populace to an El Dorado of sorts. But no, politicians who forgot nothing became the new tyrants under the Obasanjo 8 years presidency. Governors Joshua Dariye Plateau, Peter Obi, Anambra, Rashid Ladoja Oyo, and Ayofayese Ekiti were all illegally muzzled out of office. Now, in 2018, Benue State helmsman Samuel Ortom, in a return to the bad days, is in the throes of a messy impeachment drama. 8 out of 30 lawmakers were about to make a mess of boiling a 5-minute egg. You will understand. Let's start the debate. But let's meet and greet my guests. Festus Akintola is a security expert and political affairs analyst. Festus, I greet you. Welcome.
Good morning.
We also have Eniton Olu-Kotun. Am I right?
Yeah.
He's a journalist and a public affairs analyst. I also welcome you, folks.
It's a pleasure being here.
So, the scenario is not a new one. In fact, I take you back to the Second Republic, okay. The first governor to be impeached in this country. Kaduna, old Kaduna State. Balarabe Musa was so removed from office because he refused to give each member of the then NPN dominated or predominated House of Assembly 50,000 naira each. Big money at the time.
Of course.
So the cycle continues.
Yeah, of course, Citizen Jones, you said it. And I'm happy when you were, in your intro, you did attest to the fact that this is not the first time we are in a throes of tyranny, as it were. You recall during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo, our governors were willfully, removed and state of emergency declared in those states and what have you. So what is happening in Benue is quite worrisome. And to me, it appears that the political class have probably, they are somehow inured to the development and realities of our time. The days of high-handedness, manipulation, intimidation is gone for good. And it is high time they actually, they believe
gone
that.
For good?
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, they should know that it's gone for good. We are not in the military.
But women is not telling you that.
Yeah, that is why it's quite worrisome. That is why it's quite worrisome. We are not in a military dictatorship. So if you want to remove a serving governor, there are laid down procedures. And you must follow that through. So if you don't follow that, if you circumvent that particular process, the entire exercise will be nullity. So it is very important for the political class to know that they are not the only stakeholder in the project called Nigeria. They can use their own selfish and in most cases, self-driven political ambition to set the entire country ablaze. So now tell me, if the lawmakers or the governor of the Benue State deploy the state powers at its disposal to restrain those 8 lawmakers out of...
Anita, you are dreaming of a state police here.
No. Yes, of course.
No,
not even talking about the state police.
The governor. I'm just rubbing that in.
Yes.
Supposing he had a way of fighting back.
Fighting back using the state coercive agency. Yeah. You could best imagine what could turn out in Benue. So therefore, we need to actually set a kind of template that will give the political class some kind of restraint, why pushing their own political agenda? Because this nation is not only theirs, it belongs to every one of us.
Okay. At least that's what the books say.
Well, you see, I want to go to one of the stanzas in the national anthems.
Which one?
Which says that the labors of our hero past shall not be in vain. And that is of paramount importance.
That's your old anthem.
though saying yes, those should not be in vain, because people fought for independence of this country. People fought for this democracy we are enjoying today. And what is of paramount importance to me as regards to Benue is the wanton killings of the herdsmen and the farmer. I mean, you are using your political, because of your selfish interest and the political interest you have in regaining the strength in Benue State. This wanton killing is becoming so enormous and is germane to the unities of this country. So it could undermine the unity of this country, which our past heroes have fought for. That is of paramount importance to me.
Festus, I'm sure you know we are dealing with the big man syndrome in our country. Okay. You know, Benue State is torn between two big men, the immediate past governor, Senator George Akume, and the incumbent,
Samuel
Otom.
Should that be done at the detriment of people's life?
But at that point, Enito, who do you blame, the politician or the followers?
No, we have to blame the system. For someone like me, I have been advocating for us to have a strong institution rather than having strong men. You know, and these days, even if you want to do anything...
Strong men would propel strong institutions, don't you think?
No, if you have strong institution, and if everyone, regardless of your standing or social status in the society, if everybody subject their ways, you know, to the dictates and the tenets of the law, so you can't have a situation where someone, probably because he has a brainwave, and just decide all of a sudden that this is exactly what I'm going to do, in variance to the law. In variance to the law. So therefore, we must have strong institutions. We must continue to strengthen, you know, the democratic structures we have in the society, so that we can continue to be having this kind of situation we are having.
Yeah. Well, I may not want to subscribe to what he's saying. I mean, this having an institutions. We should try and orientate our people.
Having strong institutions?
Strong institutions rather having strong men.
Okay, you don't like an institution.
You understand? Yes. You see, we should build our system in such a way that the elite show interest in politics. Nigerian elite don't show interest in politics. That's, you want to believe, you look at it, what is happening in Osun State now. In Osun State now, one of the governorship aspirants is being asked to go and produce his whole-level certificate. That will tell you that the caliber of people...
or wrong, rightly or wrongly?
Rightly or wrongly. You understand?
I'm asking you, you know, show your certificate. Is it right?
Is it
right.
Wrong? It is right.
Okay.
But now you can see the caliber of people that want to govern a state who doesn't even have a school certificate.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, he doesn't even have a school certificate. You understand what I'm saying? What fundamental thing do you want?
I'm sure you know what the Constitution says in that regard.
I know.
It says, attempt the O-level
certificate. But it doesn't even, it is alleged that he doesn't even have.
Okay.
It is alleged that he doesn't even have.
So at that point,
that is because he's a money bag.
Does it make him any less a big man than he is?
Because the Nigerian electoral system is so monetized. If it is not so monetized, I mean, such people will not show interest in politics.
Take us to Imo State, so I don't forget.
All right.
Imo State is presently in the throes of not having an effective deputy governor.
So it's even worse if you consider the fact that there is a subsisting court order restraining the Imo State House of Assembly from proceeding with the impeachment process of Madumere, the deputy, the ex-white deputy governor of the state. So therefore, what they are telling us is that, you know, rule of law is no longer tenable in our society. And if you don't have a rule of law, the alternative is the rule of man.
Or the law of rule.
Exactly, which will definitely result to anarchy. So now we are seeing a state of anarchy in the process, you know, in view, in that particular state. Because if a court state, wait a minute, don't go ahead with this impeachment, and because of the political ambition of the governor, he suppressed the State House of Assembly and had his way. Now tell us, are we in a banana republic? Are we in a jungle? If we don't have laws, if a governor can just decide based on probably his own whims and caprices.
But the laws are there. The laws provide, amongst other things, for a separation of powers, the executive, the legislative, the judiciary. When you hear things like Festus and Anyton, when you hear things like state assemblies are in the pockets of governors, what does that say about?
It's to the fact that they don't. No, it's to the fact that they don't have independence. Because, for instance, if you are expecting me to be paying your bills every month, definitely you have to, probably subject yourself to certain conditions. It will definitely come with some proviso. So that is exactly what we are seeing. They don't have independence, especially financial autonomy for the states, and that is the situation nationwide.
The president just signed the law the other day.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Which is a very good.
We hope it will be executed.
Which is a good development. However, in all these things, we need to talk about the complicity of the state's coercive agency, especially the police. The police definitely is giving some backing, because there is no way you can, execute an illegal agenda without the backing of the police. You recall that we read in the report, in media reports, that the police actually restricted some members loyal to the governor in Benue, and allowed the head people to be conducting themselves in such a shameful manner. So if you now tell me that if you have a police that should be the agency that should uphold and enforce the law, and it appears that the police itself is probably in connivance, active connivance with people who want to subvert the process. Then what are we going to say to that?
First, so what is the court doing? Go back to Benue. What's the court's position on it?
Well, you see, the court position on it in Benue State, for now, when cases are in court, one should be very, very careful not to delve into it much. Because
no. You are not talking about a possible result, but the reaction of the court
to what is happening
in
Benue State. You see, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. I'm going to be totally honest with you that the Nigerian judiciary is not that so independent in that, with an apostrophe there. They sit down to the tunes of the executive.
We are far from home.
We are far from home. They sit down to the tune of the executive.
Those are weighty allegations that you have to be very careful about.
So it is that caveat. But you see, what is of paramount importance to me now is the issue of wanton killings between the herdsmen and the farmers. You will see that in 2014, the government of Jonathan realized the fact that, look, there is critical issue on ground about farmers and X-men.
Yeah.
And they know that at that time that the solution to this is the issue of ranching.
Yeah.
Now, they voted 100 billion naira to that effect. And the National Economic Council then approved the disbursement. It was disbursed. And to all states that they should have mini ranches in all the states. Now, where is the money?
Where are the ranches?
Where are the ranches?
Anytime, the court has made a pronouncement that in Benue.
As regard what?
The process, the impeachment.
No, yes, of course. I don't think I have information concerning that. No, but let me speak to what my brother just said about the 100 billion naira, that was voted, for the ranchings during the time of this day. I don't want us to get ourselves into the politics of ranching, cattle coloning.
No. But the governor himself had said one of the reasons he's being so haunted is because he said no to ranching.
No, if you look at it, Uncle Jones, if you recall, I think if I'm not mistaken, the first day of this year, that was on the first day, January 1st, about 73 people were killed in that state. And what we had expected naturally is for the commander-in-chief to act swiftly, at least visit that state and all that. So if Governor Otom, as it were, is monopolizing the violence, the herdsmen clashes violence for his own political gain, that is for him. You know, if the executive, the presidency has dropped the ball in managing the situation effectively, so he wouldn't have such public sympathy. No, I'm coming. Public sympathy, you know, for people to believe that, wait a minute, it's because this guy said no to cattle colony, and now we's now, now rechristened ranching. That is why it's been housed to account. It's been asked.
You know, Festus does not share your sentiment.
The sentiment is this: you are saying that if Autumn has monopolies of political radicalism for his own personal benefit, but as whose detriment, they are killing people. These people they are killing are not animals. You understand? In the United States of America, they have issues of herdsmen and farmers. You will remember in the 50s about the issue of the cowboys. And what the immediate solution is the issue of ranching. Ghana has such a problem, and the problem is the issue of ranching. Under the Jonathan administration, they realized the fact that ranching is the solution to it, and they voted 100 billion naira, and which was disbursed to all states. Where is the money today? Now, if Jonathan or the PDP see ranching as the solution, why is under APC now, PDP is not seeing ranching as solution to the issue of the problem at hand?
Seeing ranching as the answer is a different thing from ensuring that ranches were there. If you voted money for a particular project, obviously it's only natural to kick the ball and follow.
If the ranching has been done by now,
so
I think
Autumn was not in power in 2014 when that money was voted.
No, Festus, but you should interrogate that. If you appropriated money for a particular thing, you should kick and follow the ball.
Exactly.
Sure. You see, the National House of Rep instituted a panel to look into that issue of 100 billion, naira. Now, up to today, they've not come out to the public with the outcome of their investigation.
All right. Let's look at the saga, the impeachment mess in Benue State. I did say when democracy returned in 1999, we thought we were on the high ground to El Dorado. But we had laid templates. Is it always the problem of the politician or the elector? We talk about followership. We must talk about followership.
Yeah, it is both.
Okay.
Because the society we throw up is products, for elective position. The politicians, as bad as they may appear, they didn't drop from the sky. They went out of the pool. In
other words, we deserve what we are getting?
Yes, of course, one way or the other. And both ways, like I said earlier, that even if you look at the electorate themselves, they haven't showed enough interest, or they don't have a full grasp of
where's the problem? Voter education?
No, voter education and the need for our people to recognize that vote, the power of your thumb, is the pathway, for a secured future for your children. I was in my hometown recently, and I was telling some people, because I saw the level of poverty and what have you in the community, and I was telling them that recently you had elections, and some of you were collecting money, to go and cook soup.
Which hometown is this?
No, I'm talking of Ondo State.
Okay.
Now, I told them that you don't need it. If you cook a pot of soup for a day, after the whole day, after that day, you will be hungry again. Why can't you insist that the political class or any candidate whatsoever who is coming to your community to campaign to at least give you a cottage industry? In that cottage industry, you are going to
stomach infrastructure.
And not stomach infrastructure. We shouldn't be ruled by our bellies. So anybody who is controlled by his belly will always be changed. That is the fact.
Man will always get hungry.
So we told them that why can't you insist that these people should have a cottage? You are complaining of mass unemployment for your children, that some of your children who have graduated are not doing subsistence farming and what have you. And then you don't see that you can use that your vote to trigger that process that will secure the future of your children.
You see, Nigerian citizen has been so povertized.
Pulverized.
Pulverized. Name it.
Pulverized,
No,
as
let
they say.
me tell you one thing which I wouldn't want to subscribe to. I mean, the fact that an average Nigerian is so poor. I'm going to be thorough. They are poor.
Sorry, hold on. Are you talking? No, hold on. Are you talking about
education of? You are talking
intellectual
about
poverty or poverty of the pocket?
Poverty of the pocket. Poverty of the, no, I'm not talking intellectual poverty. Okay. I'm talking of the poverty of the pocket.
But you know, this is the worst form of poverty.
It's the worst form of poverty, and I want to tell you, Nana, I told you earlier on that Nigerian elites don't show interest in politics. They have apathy for going into politics. That is why we are saying. That's why he's saying that is the product of the society. No, it's not the product of the society.
What's responsible for that?
Because
the big man syndrome. We agreed earlier on.
Yes, it's because the Nigerian political stage is full of gangrisms, courtism, so to say. What is it? Monetize.
Where does
nobody is elected on the basis of his intellectual capacity?
Where is
based on how much you can spend?
Festus, where is cultism incubated, if not at the institutions?
Well, it is instead at institutions. It forms part of the society. The children that goes into the institution are they not part of the society?
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever you see. You see, whatever you see is what you see your parents doing. That
the same elite. You want the same elite to predominate your politics?
No, it's not that the elite the place one. We are not talking of. You are talking of intellectual poverty now. No, we don't want those people at haven't you seen it in the House of Assembly? They are throwing pebbles at each other.
Yeah, but they are not.
They are jumping fences.
Festus,
have you ever seen them doing that in America?
Do
they do that in the House of Commons in Britain? No.
Hold on.
That is what
those people. So many of them are not old people. They are not too old and not too young.
Well, the patterns of our leadership in this country has been the same old trend. We are recycling the leadership in this country. The leadership has been recycled in this country from independence to date.
Trump is not a young man.
He is not.
But he has young men working for him.
Sure. Do we have that kind of people in Nigeria here? Do we have young men working for people in Nigeria?
The president may be an old man. He does not have old men working for him. All of them are not. All his ministers are not.
Give me the average age of our leaders.
Is it about the age of the head or the age of the man?
Why does a lawyer wear? Wig. Do you know what it signifies?
Wisdom?
It's progressive wisdom. That is the silver years signify wisdom. It's an old age. It tells you that as you age,
okay, gentlemen, let's take you to London in a manner of speaking. Chris is waiting. Chris, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, I greet you, Chris.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. President.
Let's go.
All right. Yes, watched you from London. It's such a pity that what is going on in our country and watch from afar is very, very difficult every time that I see Nigerian situation to kind of swallow or kind of think what is going on. The problem we're having is that it's not going to be possible to change the political leaders unless we change those who elect them. According to what one of my brothers over there is saying, the problem lies with the people as well. No matter, even though we understand there's poverty in the land and all that, but we have to, the most educated people in society, the so-called white-collar job managers and all that, you hardly see them in the queue. The only people who sit in the queue, most of the time when I watch TV during the election, are the women, the literate old women. You hardly see the young boy that works in the bank, all these corporate guys, you hardly see them in the queue. Mostly the old women, the women, the market women with their babies in their back, the old farmers in the bush and all that. How they hardly watch TV, they hardly read newspapers. There's no how you can educate them. It's not possible until our young ones from the university, all the way down to the bank, all the way down to universities, come out in light and vote. We will always have all these kind of bad leadership in top positions in Nigeria.
All right.
And it's very, very sad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Chris. You got the punchline.
Yes, of course. No,
But the political climate here cannot change until you change the people who elect them.
Yes, of course.
But how do you effect that? How do you effect that?
How we effect that essentially has to do with, the middle class or the elites, as we like to call them in this climate, should understand the fact that you are not actually immune from the ills of the society. If you think you have a car, you are moving around another, if the roads are bad, you can't construct the road. You don't have the capacity, to construct that roads. So if you think you have a good education, and probably someone on the street who, as a result of bad leadership or a victim of bad governance, probably couldn't train himself through school and all that, and it turned out to be, so he can endanger your own life. So if you understand this nexus, the connectivity between your votes and the need for you to get involved in the process and the quality of your life and your future.
Meaning, let me get you.
All right,
when you cast your ballot, you defend that ballot.
You defend?
Because from somewhere, and this is what Festus meant,
all right,
some idiots from somewhere will come shooting, everybody scrams, ballot box snatched.
All right.
It is a way of life here.
No, if you look at it very well, I think even if you observe what we have been seeing in recent elections, you will discover that the political class have been sophisticated in a way they compromise the electoral process. Now, in those days, we used to have scenarios of ballot stuffing, ballot snatching, and the excess use of trickery during election. That is gone for good because of technology. I'm coming, sir.
It is hoped that it is on its way out.
No,
we are not totally there.
No, because if you look at it, because I have been observing election for some time now, if you snatch any ballot box from any polling unit, you cannot return it back and INEC will probably take it. If you go and do thumb printing inside your bedroom and you think you can return it, it won't work without the accreditation. I'm coming, sir.
It means you trust the forensics.
No, I'm coming, sir, because of the technology of the card reader. So we are getting the technology right, but it's helping us to eliminate all this human interference in the process. Now,
Anything, let me take you quickly to Ibadan.
All right.
Somebody is waiting.
Hello,
Ulu Shola is waiting. Shola, I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you. This is Joe.
Yeah.
Good morning. Anything. Morning.
Good morning.
I know the other person is there.
Festus.
Hello.
Festus is here.
Yes. Olushola Affiliates.
Let's go.
Yes. Now, I want to draw it back a little to the issue of building up a strong institution. Now, if we have a strong institution on ground, anybody that is coming in as a leader, either is strong or is not strong, will just fit into the system and I'll make this work continually. So that is what we need in this country now, not strong men, but a strong institution that will make our country work on a better pedestal. Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah. And Festus, let's take from where he left off.
Okay.
A strong institution can only trust a strong character to protect it. You understand?
Sure.
So take us back to Benue. The scenario is bound to split public opinion.
Sure.
In two or more parts.
Well, let us take a holistic approach to the problem. You see, the problem in Benue is so very, very enormous now, and it is general throughout the country. Now, we're thinking of, educating the electorate. Let us look at that educating the electorate and building up an institution. I think what is determined to that remains the fact that the level of education in this country is so low. If you look at the advanced world, look at America,
is
Canada,
it the level or the quality?
The level of education. As people, the dropouts from schools and that is becoming so high, particularly in the north and in the middle belts. Now, look at it in America, and in Canada, in Britain. It is And what do we call it? It is illegal. It is an illegality for you to keep a child at home, a child of school age at home.
Yeah.
And the education at that level is free. Let us follow the trends. That is why they have an institutions, a well-cultured institutions that is making things happen for them the way it is happening. We need to build our quality of education, make it a free thing to between a certain age. You know, this is the formative age of the children. And I'm going to be thoroughly honest with you, the behavior formed by a child between the age of 13 and 19, once the child has reached that age, you can't change it. It is so dynamic, you can't change it.
Tunde is reaching us from London. I greet you. Welcome, Tunde.
Hi, Citizen Jones. How are you?
I greet you. Fine.
Yeah. You see, your panelists has touched on two subjects of concern to me. One of it is the people that the electorate that they're complaining about. You've got to understand that, you know, the military era has caused a lot of problems whereby a lot of people are scared. They don't want to be shot dead. They don't want to lose their lives. Secondly, you talk about the judiciary. For me, they are extremely weak. I know any song or demanding the suit and say that you cannot say that. I am of the belief that the only way, give an example of one of the news I listened to last night, and that is the judge or whoever called the top man of INEC, and he did not turn up. This is what the judiciary should drop through and say, look here, if politicians are unwilling to adhere to instructions, they are unwilling to come to court, then we are not going to go any further. They should come and judge their case themselves. Because you cannot. Look, in the West, the majority of these people travel to the Western world, to the Western Hemisphere. They see how things are wrong. You can just drop through and say, respect our law in this country. And that is the only way we can move forward. Yeah. Everybody from the top man, the Chief Justice, to say, if you do not respect us, if we are not part of the three arms of government, we are not going to perform. So that is for me to say, when we call you, the chief of police should attend. No argument or else automatic sack. An example.
Yeah, Tunde, for me,
you have to adhere to instructions directly and move on, or else you're going nowhere.
Tunde, for me, just before you run off, those who make the law or those who make these laws must themselves be law-abiding.
But the question begs, who is the enforcer?
Okay, thank you. On that note, we'll take this break. But then 8 out of 30 lawmakers making to impeach a governor is an absurdity. We'll come back after this break. All right, folks, welcome back. I hope you have not lost it. Benue as a metaphor for political harshness, or if you like, tyranny. This story is not new. 8 out of 30 lawmakers desire to impeach a sitting governor. The absurdity is something we are having to broach here. Festus Akintola and Eniton Ulukotun are here. So still in Benue, if the governor had said, it's because I'm opposed to ranching, that's why I'm having all this. Question is, where is what you call political wisdom here? It's not being politically correct, which I'm told is tyranny. Ranching, both of you have agreed, is the way to go. So, but the governor is opposed to ranching. Something is missing here.
Yes, of course. No, something is missing because of the history of how we arrived at the idea of ranching. Initially, it was the idea in the air was that of the cattle colony, and when cattle colony couldn't fly, that people were saying we couldn't cede our land to certain people and what have you. So we started hearing about ranching. And now, definitely,
So it's semantics.
it has to do with semantic, one way or the other, because if you are talking about ranching, talking about cattle colony, and if the government, if the central government had come openly and probably put the idea of ranching out, and Otom objected. So we can say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? What is the problem? Ranching, the cattle will be within a confine, and what have you, they won't stray around and all that. So there is another dimension to that. I will not sit here and divulge the fact that there is a political coloration and political motives, into what is really going on. And now, if you recall...
Anita, let me quickly take Just. Tama is here. I greet you. Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
I greet you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I just want to contribute my own... Okay. Hello, sir.
Go on, sir.
Good morning.
I greet you.
Yes, sir. I was just trying to contribute my little, opinion here. I think the problem of Benue is not because Otom was against ranching. I think, if anything, he was the first governor that was actually agitating for ranching. So the colony thing came completely after all the killings. That was the suggestion the agricultural minister came up with. And I heard one of your panelists use the word monopoly. I think that's, to me, not true, because what Otom was trying to do was manage the crisis as best as he can, because he wasn't quite getting the support he needed from the federal government. And you people also need to understand there are other issues that have brought Benue to where it is today, because some of the so-called Godfathers think they can control the minds of the governor, the sitting governor. I mean, the 90% of the appointees were appointed by the so-called Godfather. Two, he was against the anti-grazing law, which Otom brought to place because, one, the federal government wasn't quite reacting quick enough, and the killings of his own people. And he took an oath when he became the governor to protect the interests and the lives of his citizens. So I think he did what he had to do and managed the crisis as best as he can.
Yeah, but aren't you
monopoly, I think it's
Tama, but are you not surprised today he's saying the impeachment saga is coming because I was opposed to ranching? That's what he said. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The governor actually said, look, I know all this is because I said no to ranching. Can we reconcile that?
Part of it.
Yeah.
That's one reason, but there are other reasons, sir. The other reason is one, Akume. Now, well, what I'm saying, yes,
Senator Akume, yeah.
That to other things as well, because that's just one reason out of
Yeah,
many.
I know.
One, yes, because Akume didn't also want him to appoint the Torti. I mean, there are so many things that you people don't understand that's going on in Benue. So that's just one out of many.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you. But did you get that now?
Yes.
Because Akume, the outgone governor, immediate past governor, was opposed to his determining who the next chief, that's the traditional
of traditional ruler will be. That is exactly what we are saying, that the issue of the crisis going on in Benue
about the big man,
politically motivated. It's politically motivated. And the issue of ranching, there is no hard way to fast route to it. You see, my concerns remain the fact that in 2014, PDP were in government then. They saw that the solution to the problem of X-Men farmer classes, the lasting solution to it, because of they've learned from experience of what happened in another country, the issue of cowboy in US, Ghana about 2 weeks ago or a month ago.
They said ranching was the way to go.
Way forward.
So what did it do?
They voted money. That's all the issue.
What
Where
happened
is the
with
money? 100 billion.
all right.
Now, if they are doing, again, that scenario featured in the issue of Boko Haram. Money was voted to go and buy ammunition for it was diverted. You understand? It was diverted.
All right.
Now they diverted this incident. The problem there is that again.
Yeah, let's quickly listen to Yakub. Yakub is here in Lagos. Dr. Mo, Yakub, I greet you.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And good morning to your guests in the studio.
Welcome.
Good morning.
I think let me take where your guest talk. Where is the money? Where is the money in the sense that they have been budgeting so much money for some certain development in this country and in some states. For example, the Boko Haram issue that your guest just mentioned, they budget money to buy ammunition, and then the money was diverted, and then today the government go after the people behind the money, and then Nigerian citizens are cry for that. We should leave that 100%. That diverted money, and then a lot of people got killed. Up to today, we are still going around about it. We are not out of it. Then about the ranching issue that the Benue government is mentioned. The ranching is the way to go, citizens. Assuming that they adopt that ranching, and then these people are Nigerian as well. They're entitled to the school, they're entitled to good water and all that. If you give them ranching, you can be able to make money from the ranching as well as the state government. And then I can tell you, all politics is local, citizens. For the 8 people to go into the National Assembly of Benue State to impeach a government, it is a local politics. It is not about ranching. Don't let anybody come in here and telling us that because I against the ranching. It is not. It is because the Godfather and the Godson. That is where these people have got to go to the National Assembly and then to perpetrate evil to impeach the governor. And then it is absolutely not good at all to our democracy. What they need Autumn to do is this. They cannot be able to succeed because the federal government cannot allow 8 people to impeach a government. Don't let us telling us that it is ranching. It is not ranching. But in this country, to go all the way to go, it is ranching. Let us go to ranching. Let them ranching. They are doing this in all the developed countries. Are you telling me that in developed countries there is no ranching? Where is this in the world? In developed countries that people are rustling countries. There's nowhere. It is only Nigeria. Ranching is way to go. Thank you and God bless you.
Yeah. Right. Again, we can't run away from it, the big man syndrome. But let me prompt you, Anyton, if he had not jumped ship, would he be in this in this mess?
Most likely not.
If we had remained in APC.
Exactly, most likely, and that is the reason why people are reading a lot of political, meanings into what is playing out in Benue. Because if you recall, less than a week when he dumped the ruling party for the opposition PDP, we now heard that the EFCC, has gotten the strength to probably investigate his security votes and what have you. So therefore, there is no how that you won't be seeing the hand of Abuja in what is happening because the EFCC is answerable to the presidency. So therefore, the problem that we have is that we need to rise above board at all time.
Yeah.
When we are talking about serious issue that has to do with governance in this country.
Benga is waiting for both of you in Abuja. I greet you, Benga. Welcome.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yep.
My name is Benga. I'm calling from Abuja.
Okay then.
You see, the major cause of the problem in Benue is this anti-grazing law.
Good.
When it was promulgated, Akume told Governor Tom that did not sign that bill into law because it will encourage peace in the community. In that bill, I don't know if you have seen it, they said that every herdsman must have a ranch and that it's a 1-year lease, which is not possible because having a ranch involves infrastructure, borehole, fencing, and all that. By the time you do that, and by next year, you cannot renew your rent or lease, what happens? Number 2, the people concerned are stark illiterate who are living in the bush. They need to be educated. So it's for him to relax that law and wait for other things to be done. But as Otom said, he wants to do the will of his people, that he cannot do anything but obey his people. And when that law was signed, it caused this problem. What are we saying? What we are saying is that ranching or no ranching or colony is just semantic. They are the same thing because you can't define the difference between colony and ranching. But what is happening in Benue now goes beyond ranching.
Of course.
Because Otom, as it is, has gone against the power that be. And they've not said, okay, if you are going your own way, you cannot go on with you. We'll make this place ungovernable for you. There's a pity for what is happening. But I'm telling you that it's a kind of disagreement between the son and the father. And the main cause is this ranching. And that ranching at the grazing law, if you have seen it, it is not practicable. And that's the reason why the president told him that he should go and live in peace with people, because it will not even encourage ranching at all. So it's now coming out that it's against ranching, because they don't even want ranching in Benue at all. That's why the law is very stiff. The law is in fact, it's not implementable without causing problem. And the livestock guard that were employed to implement it was using it to exploit the herdsmen. They're using it to steal their cow, and that's what caused what happened, the killing. That killing was a kind of retaliation. It's a kind of it's a kind of showing their anger against that law, because the implementation was very crude, was not human, doesn't have a human face.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks.
Now, let me just let me just round up my. So the fight against corruption, must have some modicum of sincerity, and the presidency, the Buhari-led government should be very careful so that people will not justify the allegation that the fight against corruption is for political win shunt and all that. Because if we hadn't heard anything about Governor Otom diverting security vote for other means, all this why, and in less than 6 days, when he said, no, I'm no longer in the ruling party, and the whole thing throws, it comes up to the open, people will start asking questions. It is natural that, wait a minute, what happened? If EFCC have been on this thing, you should have thrown this open, all this why.
Okay. All right, let me take us to Arochukwu in Abia State. Comrade Okorafor is waiting. Comrade, welcome.
Good morning, Sir George. Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Today in Benue State, the House of Assembly, that the honorable members have turned the State House of Assembly as an environment of commotion and confusion. Instead of them to find solutions to how to solve the problem of IDPs and insecurity in the state, they start cause problem. Now, what Nigerians are facing today is politics of illiteracy and money transaction and the theory of now, it's our turn. Because of this theory of this our turn, we now turn the state into another confusion in the country. Now you ask yourself, people go to the hotel, carry papers and some drinks, and come to the polling booth and announce it's in Nigeria. Now you ask yourself, a state of Benue, 8 people turn the state house assembly into what? Rascality and unconstitutional to come and impeach the government. Now, the issue of this Godfatherism, Akume, and Otom, if you go to today's the Telegram said Akume brought 80 million or 80 million to bribe the House Assembly. That is the issue of this Godfatherism. Maybe Akume brought Otom into the office to be a governor. Now, Akume Otom now refused to dance to the tune of what Akume. That is why you see all this confusion. Now, that is why in this country, we should stop this issue of Godfatherism. If we don't stop it, all this confusion that is happening in the presidency will also ring out to another state. That is the issue. If you don't have money to go to politics, forget it. And people should think about that is integrity. People that are ready to deliver, not people that are coming because this man, I want you to be in office. I will take both Tom, Dick, and Hans, go and come somewhere and make sure.
Thank you, comrade.
Problem. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in
Lagos. The more you see, the less you get.
Well, let me just sum up. I want to react to his saying that people should not. When the government of Olusegun Obasanjo then set up the EFCC, the wanton saying about Nigeria public is that he's after his enemy. That was it during Obasanjo's regime when the EFCC was.
But the question, there was a caveat. There was a caveat. Tell me who amongst those EFCC nailed that was not guilty?
None.
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 So it's typical.
It's
of,
typical.
Of,
It's
of the
typical of any
Nigerian
Nigerian
It's
public.
typical.
It's typical of Nigerian. But if anybody accuses President Muhammadu Buhari of saying that is after his enemy, let it be, because this is about people's life. You see, we are forgetting one fundamental problem in Benue State. Killing people, whether it's politically motivated, whether they are fighting among the fight among the political classes, is about killing people, killing innocent children. And the killing is now so enormous that is so potential.
Festus, mine is
the unity of this country.
Every society would have big men. No.
Every society has problem, and their way of solving the problem.
Yeah. These problems are man-made. Only man can solve the problems.
Sure.
But I'm saying the big man syndrome in our politics, we must tame it.
Yes, of course.
Time to tame it.
Exactly.
Time.
Because
we must tame it. But let me tell you one thing.
Sorry, perhaps one last call. Olanrewaji is reaching us from Ilorin, Kwara.
Yes, good morning.
Welcome, sir.
Because of time, I just want to call the president service.
Your line is muffled? Your line is a little muffled.
Differentiate their approach towards our poverty. If we are looking reference of what happened during Obasanjo, during Jata, so many people were fighting the ranch. The question is whether I want to state rather that the movement of Godfathers from APC to PDP is a major cornerstone responsible for present situation. That is how that.
Muffled, but I think we are able to piece together what
you're saying.
It's
not audible enough. But
you talked about this impunity right from 1999 through today.
Exactly.
So between 1999 and yesterday, in a manner of speaking, it is still the big man that's holding sway.
Exactly.
The big man.
The big man that controls the levers of power, in the society is why we are having all these, all this problem we are having. If you recall the congresses and convention of the APC, now it was a big tussle between the heavyweights and what have you, because they want to, maintain control at all costs.
So now we are angling for, just a minute, we are angling for the younger generation to take over.
Exactly.
In this climate, is it possible?
No, it's
so when you say the elite does not want to come in.
No, I didn't say elite does not want to come in. He said it.
Okay.
And I don't believe that elite won't want to come in because they know the implications, they know the dangers.
The flaw is messy.
The flaw is messy, but there is no alternative for not getting involved. By the time you get to, I'm sorry, Mr. Festo.
So round off now.
So by the time you get involved, that is when you can probably contribute to your own quota and try to, effect some changes. Let me tell you something that is happening now. The movements that we have now, they're not too young to run, and some younger elements who are coming into the presidential race, one way or the other, are getting a lot of younger people to be interested in politics. The lives of Omoyele Sowore and the lives of Imo. So a lot of people, the mobilization is very key, and people are now beginning to see that we can have a departure from the money-back-driven political platform of APC and PDP.
I admire the guts of Sowore, but running a country like ours goes beyond activism. You must be schooled. When you are told that the French President Macron is in his 30s, good, but he went through the mill. How do you close?
You see, let me tell you.
You are closing.
Yeah, this is why I want to close. You see, the issue of big manisms in Nigerians and other things, we just need to moderate it. I'm going to be totally honest with you that rulership in any part of the country belongs to a certain class, and there are people that determine that. If you look at American election, for instance, the public votes say one thing, while the electoral college votes says another thing. That will tell you that rulership in any part of the country
of the
world, in any part of the world, belong to certain class. Aside from that, what is of paramount importance to us is the unity of this country, and that people have fought for it. And again, we should divulge politics out of wanton killings.
All right,
and
all
the
right.
issue of colonies, let it be. The 100 billion naira issues should be investigated.
I must stop you. Time is up, but Eniton Olukotun, many thanks for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Wish you well. And Festus Akintola.
It's a pleasure being here.
All right then. So the viewer would understand that any society on the planet would have the big man syndrome, but we are asking that the big man in any society should bring something momentous to the table. You can't be big and your people are mauled. It makes no sense. And remember, there's also the law of cause and effect. I'm out of here. There's another program tomorrow, so join Yori for learning bright and early. I'm out of here. Bye-bye now.